Jaya Gopi Jana Bala Bhagiri Hari Jaya Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Gopi Jana Bala Bhagiri Varadari Jaya Gopi Jana Bala Bhagiri Varadari Jaya Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajakacharya Asratara Satasisi Met His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, Sri Sadhu and Sri Gadanga. Glories of Srila Prabhupada. You gave me 135? It's 136. I did 135, I think, last time.
135.
Anyway, we'll do a few of them. Okay. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So today we're reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the confidential reasons for the Lord's appearance. And today we'll start and follow along verse 135, and then I'm going to read a few other verses. Kabuyari ei premada ha-iyā śrāya Tabi ei premanandera anubhava haya Kabuyari ei premada ha-iyā śrāya Tabi ei premanandera anubhava haya Kabuyari ei premada ha-iyā śrāya Tabi ei premanandera anubhava haya Kabuyari ei premada ha-iyā śrāya Tabi ei premanandera anubhava haya Kabuyari ei premada ha-iyā śrāya Tabi ei premanandera anubhava haya Premanandera ha-iyā śrāya Tabi ei premanandera anubhava haya Kabuyari ei premada ha-iyā śrāya Tabi ei premanandera anubhava haya Kabu, sometime, yadi, if, this, premara, of the love, ha-iyā, I become, ashraya, the abode, tabe, then, this, prema anandera, of the joy of love, anubhava, experience, haya, there is. Translation: if sometime I can be the abode of that love, only then may I taste its joy. Purport: Vishaya and Ashraya are two very significant words relating to the reciprocation between Kṛṣṇa and his devotee. The devotee is called the Asraya, and his beloved Kṛṣṇa, he's the Vishaya. Different ingredients are involved in the exchange of love between the Asraya and Vishaya, which are known as Vibhava, Anubhava, Sattvika, and Vyabhichari. Vibhava is divided into two categories, Alambana and Udipana. Alambana may be further divided into Ashraya and Vishaya. In the loving affairs of Radha and Kṛṣṇa, Radharani is the ashraya feature and Kṛṣṇa the vishaya. The transcendental consciousness of the Lord tells him, I am Radharani, the ashraya, is many times greater than the pleasure I feel. Let me say that again. The pleasure enjoyed by Radharani, the ashraya, is many times greater than the pleasure I feel. Therefore, to feel the pleasure of the ashraya category, Lord Kṛṣṇa appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'm going to do a few more verses here. Eichinti raha Kṛṣṇa parama katuki hridaya badaya prema loba dad daki. Thinking in this way, Lord Kṛṣṇa was curious to taste that love. His eager desire for that love increasingly blazed in his heart. Ei eka suna ara lobera prakara svamadurya dekhi Kṛṣṇa karina vichara. That is one desire. Now please hear of another. Seeing his own beauty, Lord Kṛṣṇa began to consider. Adbhuta anantapurna mora madhurima trijagate iṅhāra keha nahi paya sima. My sweetness is wonderful, infinite, and full. No one in the three worlds can find its limit. And the next one. Ei prema durare nitya radhika ekela amara madhurya amrita asvade sakali. Only Radhika, by the strength of her love, taste all the nectar of my sweetness. Vamagyanatimirandasya gananjana salakaya chakshulan militam jena tazraisi gurave namaha Sri Chaitanya manobhistam stapitam jena bhutale svaya kadamayam dadati svapatantikam Panchakalpa Tirubhishcha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasati Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna. I'm very bewildered not having any love to try to describe the love between Radha and Kṛṣṇa. Who can describe? Of course, yesterday we had Radhastami. Kṛṣṇa, we know, he's the reservoir of love. He's the embodiment of love. But he wanted to taste Radharani's feelings. He wanted to taste those feelings as Radharani. Her love for me is so wonderful. So like I say, I have no experience in this category. And I'm thinking, what is this love? What is this love? Radharani's love simply wants to serve. Simply wants to serve Kṛṣṇa. That's love. Nothing else. That's service. That's what Kṛṣṇa wanted to taste. She has this love. It's constant. And it constantly increases as Krishna's also increasing. Everything's increasing. Her love for me is increasing. That he wanted to taste. For that he came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, I have to go back to everything and think of how Srila Prabhupada manifested that same love as Srimati Radharani. She loves so much, not just herself engaging in the service of Kṛṣṇa. She wants to see everyone experiencing that pleasure of service. Not just for her. She enjoys seeing everyone having that opportunity, that feeling, and that love. I told you we go way back. I was with Prabhupada. I saw that love constantly, 24 hours a day. I said so many times, Prabhupada, he never thought about himself. Of course he thought about himself, he took care of himself, he did everything he could to maintain his health for the purpose of service. I was just seeing the other day, I was reading it in Prabhupada's room in 1975, sitting right in the center of his sitting room, 1 o'clock in the morning. That's when he translates Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, sitting behind his desk, giving us Śrīmad Bhagavatam. He wanted to give it to us. That's that same feeling of love. So much love, you want everyone to experience it. He wanted all of us, because it's our right. It's our privilege to have that love of Kṛṣṇa. And he rang his bell. I think the consideration of Srila Prabhupada, like I said, 24 hours a day, you're sitting in your room, just waiting to do something, waiting for him to ring the bell, give you some service. But he didn't ring the bell 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. My servant is sleeping. Let him sleep. Every now and then, something would come up that would interfere with his service, constant service to the Lord. And if something was interfering that, then all right, going to wake up my servant. Something has to be done here. My service has been stopped. 1 in the morning. I would hear the bell. I heard all the noises back then. Bell rang, it came in off her obeisances. He's sitting in the center of his room, not behind his desk. Never sat in the center of his room. He looked at me, he said, there's mosquitoes, causing so much difficulty. Would say cutting my forehead, or cutting my forehead. He said, looked at me, he said, they've dethroned me. Prabhupada admitted he sat on a throne. They took him off his throne. So somehow or other, that's when we got the mosquito nets. None of us had mosquito nets back then. We were transcendental, not this body. Nothing mattered. But we got a mosquito net, put it around his entire desk, big double bed, king-size bed mosquito net, so he could do his service. All he cared about was doing his service. Say you never knew what was going on with his body. He didn't say, I have a headache today, I have this, I have that. Even the noise, I would say noise he would let go, but if it interfered with his service, he'd let you know. Service is love. That's how you show. Without service, how can you say you have any love? There's no question of love unless you do something. Prabhupada say you have a lover. You want to cook for them, you want to do this, you want to do that. And we say no more than the gopis. All they wanted to do was satisfy Kṛṣṇa. And Radharani, topmost, only business, satisfy Kṛṣṇa. No other business. Told you, Prabhupada, sometimes rarely, he'd ring his bell before lunch and say, make khichdi for lunch. He didn't even say, I don't feel well. He'd say, make khichdi for lunch. That's how I knew he didn't feel well, because khichdi meant you want to balance all the dosas. Balance, something's off. So he would say, make khichdi. But never was it about what was going on with him. That's love. Not me, I'm not happy, I'm not enjoying, I don't have this, I don't have that. Never. Told you, one it rings in my mind all the time. We just came from traveling almost 3 months. I'm going to travel pretty soon for another month or so. And it's always the same. Traveling, you never know what's going to happen. And always ringing in my ears is Prabhupada saying, Kṛṣṇa gives you a bed, you sleep in the bed. If he doesn't give you a bed, you sleep on the floor. That's pure devotion. Not, here's, I'm prepared to do the service, and here's what I need in order to do my service. I need this much money, this place to stay, I need to eat like this, I need to have a vehicle, I need to have my cell phone paid every month. That's not it. That's not service. Service is you do your service, whatever Kṛṣṇa provides, his reciprocation. Told you we had Radhastami, Janmastami, Balaram's appearance day, so many festivals. Festivals are always wonderful. They keep you busy 24 hours a day. You get in that mood, just doing service. Forget about everything else. You have your service. To maintain that, like we said, now we have 60th anniversary coming. Just in 2 weeks, Prabhupada's arrival, Boston Harbor. He set his foot, pure devotee of the Lord, set his foot in the United States for the first time 60 years ago. Why? The love for his spiritual master. How did that manifest? Spiritual master always told him, he said, as he told me in the beginning, again he said the same thing. You preach in the English language, you're very good. Preach in the English language to the Westerners, you spread this Kṛṣṇa consciousness. He heard that message 1922, and he kept hearing it again and again. His only business was to carry out the order of the spiritual master. That's how you show your love. This is our beginning. You want to develop love of Kṛṣṇa. Not enjoy Kṛṣṇa. Love Kṛṣṇa, serve Kṛṣṇa. That was his mood. We've heard so many times all the different sacrifices, heart attacks, strokes, alone, but not alone. I told you, I was with him so long. Every day was like Janmastami when you traveled with Prabhupada. You couldn't separate one day from the next. Today we're having a festival. No. Every day you're with him, it's a festival. You walk into the temple room, you have hundreds of crazy devotees just adoring Srila Prabhupada, serving him. This society, we knew nothing but service. 24 hours a day. Prabhupada would say, you serve all day, even in your sleeping. You'll be Kṛṣṇa conscious, you'll have Kṛṣṇa conscious dreams. Every now and then I'll have a nice dream, kirtan going on, something this or that, but that's what happens every moment. So much Prabhupada said, I hate sleeping. That's a devotee. Anyone here hate sleeping? Yeah, he hates it. Okay, we got a few who hate sleeping. I know I don't hate it. I don't hate it at this time. Prabhupada said, I hate sleeping, it's just a waste of time. That's devotee. Yeah. Waste of time because it's stopping your service to Kṛṣṇa, where you feel the love. By service you feel love. And I told you, after a year of Janmastami, every day traveling with Prabhupada, every day Radhastami, every day is Janmastami, every day is a festival. Prabhupada's giving classes, greeting the deities. That's a festival. But I didn't feel anything. After a year of so many festivals, I wasn't feeling. I wasn't enjoying. That was my problem. I didn't think I was enjoying doing my service. And it culminated in arriving in Los Angeles airport. Hundreds of devotees, just like we see us, hundreds, thousands of devotees at the gate. There were no restrictions in airports at that time. You could go right up to the gate all the time, right up to the gate. Prabhupada was leaving, you went right up to the gate. If he was coming, right up to the gate you could be. And you could hear the kirtan in the gate from the plane. Even before they opened the doors, you could hear this kirtan. They're having Janmashtami festival there at the gate. Prabhupada's coming. They're going to get the darshan, the pure devotee. Some of them have never seen him. That anticipation to see pure devotee welling up inside of them for weeks, for months, maybe years. They've heard about this person. They loved him. They wanted to serve him because he gave them Kṛṣṇa. Prabhupada gave us Kṛṣṇa and Radha. All that we wanted to do was serve him. And they're there and they see this person. It's like the gopis always, where's Kṛṣṇa? Where's Kṛṣṇa? They couldn't wait to see him as everyone started to get off the plane, one after another. Each time waiting to see his face, the face of the pure devotee. And I'm right behind him. You can be right there. You can be right there on the altar. You can, so many things you can do and be just complete maya. Even in front of the pure devotee, even in front of Kṛṣṇa. And I was angry because I could feel everyone's love. I could feel it. I could feel theirs. And then me, I didn't feel anything. Nothing. So he came out, of course, kirtan. Everyone's off of the ground, jumping up and down. 10 mridungas. So many mridungas, cartels. Everyone screaming, chanting Hare Krishna, crying, laughing, chanting. And Prabhupada just walking so nicely, smiling. Showed everyone his smile. Everyone. Pure devotee can do that, huh? Just like Kṛṣṇa. He's with everyone simultaneously. Everyone's thinking he's just here for me. That's how the devotees felt. He looked at me. They just looked at me. Prabhupada gets into the airport. Kirtan went on all the way to the car, all through walking this way, that way, customs and luggage. And I'm standing there holding the bags. I was literally holding bags, my own baggage. My own baggage. Still trying to enjoy in this material world. Frustrated. Everyone's happy except me. I had the most enviable position in the whole society, standing next to Prabhupada every minute. Most enviable position. But I wasn't happy. Prabhupada gets back to his room in New Dwarka, Los Angeles. Very nice quarters. Prabhupada asked me once when he got there, he was, "So Sruta Kirti Maharaj," he said. He was joking. Prabhupada had a sense of humor. He said, "How do you like it here in Los Angeles?" He knew how I liked it there in Los Angeles. Wanted to confirm it. I said, "Oh, I like it very much, Prabhupada." But this day we're going there, I wasn't feeling anything. Get in the car. Prabhupada, he's very grave. Very grave. Just sit there chanting, we chant. We get to the temple. I'm busy now. I have to sort out his suitcase, get everything ready. But I just couldn't figure out, what am I doing? What's wrong with me? Finally, I started massaging Prabhupada just before lunch. Something I did every day, almost 2 hours a day, just sitting behind him cross-legged, rubbing his head, rubbing his back. I felt so bad. So selfish. And finally I said to him, I don't know what made me do that. I guess I was so close to him for so long, I felt that I could say something. And I said to him, I said, Prabhupada, all your disciples, they love you so much. But I don't have any. I said, I don't feel anything. And then I kept massaging. I was such a nonsense. I said it just hoping he would say something nice, make me feel better. Still in the same Maya, just trying to enjoy. Wasn't thinking of how I can serve him. How can I serve Radha Krishna? No, no, no. Why am I not happy? That was my feeling. And I definitely wasn't. And I said that to him. I said, I don't feel anything. I feel no love. All we speak about here every day is about love. Krishna's love for his devotees, the devotees' love for Krishna, the gopis, the gopas, everyone happy in his service, and he reciprocates. For the next hour, I massaged Prabhupada, he didn't say one word. Now after feeling already miserable, I felt even worse. How low can one feel, huh? How horrible can a person feel? Is not saying anything, thought, oh, now I really blew it. Really made a mess of things. I even told Prabhupada I have no love for him. Anyway, I just carried on, finished the massage. He would sit during massage, you never know what was going to happen. Like any time. Morning walk, you didn't know if he's going to chant japa, is he going to talk to the devotees, is he just going to be quiet? Sometimes he'd just walk so fast, and you just tried to keep up, and he wouldn't say one word. Hour and a half morning walk, not one word. Next day you go on the morning walk, it was like having a Bhagavatam class. He could talk, and devotees asking questions, and sometimes just chanting japa. Anyway, that's what happened. He said nothing. He said nothing. So I finished massage, of course. Everything regulated. Prabhupada, massage is over, he stands up, puts his left hand out. What do? Mustard oil in his left hand, a spoonful of mustard oil, and he'd do all his gates, the mustard oil. Then he would walk off. You could see his footprints from the mustard oil on his feet. You could see his lotus footprints as he walked to the bathroom. Then I'm busy. Put his clothes out, arrange the desk, prepare his lunch. So I bring him his lunch, offer obeisances. He's just quiet. One japati, two, back and forth, making japatis, bringing him japatis, 5, 6 japatis Prabhupada could eat. Every time, put it on his plate, offer obeisances. And then after lunch, he took a nap. And then the bell rang. I offer obeisances, sitting in front of him, and he just looked at me. He said, do you like your service? Just very frankly, he asked me, do you like your service? I said, yes, Prabhupada, very much. Who wouldn't like such service? I said, yes. He said, service is love. He said, just do your service. Everything will be all right. There's no other way to show your love than wanting to do something for someone. Not just talk about doing something in the future. Even Prabhupada criticized himself. He said, I was given the message 1922. We know he didn't waste any time, but he said at one point, I wasted 40 years of my life, he said. 40 years of my life because I didn't immediately take up that instruction. Of course, we know that's not true. But devotee thinks like that. I can certainly think like that. I've wasted my whole life now trying to do a little something here to show what? Love. That's how you show your love. not receiving love. That's not our business. Krishna loves everyone. Radharani wants to see everyone. This person, what do we say? He's such a nice person. You please engage him in service. You give him some service. Prabhupada's father had one prayer. Every time he saw a sadhu, Prabhupada would say, so-called sadhus, every time he saw one, he would say, you please bless my son, become servant of Srimati Radharani. That's all he ever asked for, to become servant of Srimati Radharani. And of course, topmost servant, Srimati Radharani. Giving Krishna to everyone, that's love. You want to share your beloved with everyone, not just keep him to yourself. No, Prabhupada said, there's a difference, he said, between Bhajananandi and Ghostananandi. There's a difference, not the same. Person saving himself, devotee. But person wants to save the whole world. That's a different kind of devotee, and a topmost devotee. And he knows, I just have to get them to serve. That's what Prabhupada knew. Engage everyone in service. So I continued on. Just that few words he said to me gave me another year. Another year before being with the pure devotee. 24 hours a day was just difficult. People ask, what? So many servants, so many secretaries. To be with pure devotee, you have to be like a pure devotee. I use when last year was hurricane season, and here cyclones. When you have these cyclones, hurricanes, winds sometimes over 200 kilometers an hour. But right in the very center, it's just like a regular day, the sun shining, they call the eye of the storm. There's no clouds, the sun's there. And right outside is the highest winds, right outside. That's what it's like when you're with Srila Prabhupada. You're right there. Everything's wonderful. But you go from right there and you take a step outside of that little bubble, called bubble of protection. That Maya's right there waiting, because what you're doing is very good service. The more you serve, the more Maya is going to test you. And when you were with Prabhupada, we were always being tested, always. We're all being tested. But in such a situation, test was very great. Prabhupada would tell all the people, his leaders, his GBCs, temple president, he always gave the same instruction. He would say it in so many ways. Do as I'm doing. Always said, do as I'm doing. Do just like I'm doing. What was he doing? 24 hours a day, serving, with no expectations. Nothing expected in return. Very first lesson I learned, it was May 72. I wasn't his servant, but I was in his garden. 4 or 5 of us every day. And then one day, parents came of one of the brahmacharis. And of course, Prabhupada, he was always very, very nice to the parents, appreciated, would always say. The devotee brahmachari introduces mother and father. There were well-to-do people there. And Prabhupada looked at the mother and said, your son is a very nice boy. We'll always say that, he's a very nice boy. And of course, she knows her son's a very nice boy. It's her son. Yes, she said, but he has no ambition. He was going to college, she said, university, studying to be whatever, doctor, lawyer, or something. And now he's just living in the temple. He has no ambition. And we're there, I'm there. Of course, the boy is there, Kirtanananda Swami is there, and we're just looking. And this was my first experience, Prabhupada talking with someone. She had a criticism. I didn't know what would happen. And Prabhupada looked at her. He said, yes. He says a devotee has no ambition. He just wants to serve Kṛṣṇa. Love. Love, out of love. He doesn't want anything out of it. His happiness is serving Kṛṣṇa. That is the happiness. And Prabhupada said that to her. She, of course, became even more confused. Prabhupada agreed with her, said, yes, we have no ambition. We just want to serve Kṛṣṇa. Kirtanananda Swami, this was 72, who joined 1966. He was one of the first disciples. So he saw what was going on and he thought maybe he could improve it. And he said, what Prabhupada means to say is he has no material ambition. Prabhupada slapped his hand down. No! He said he has no ambition. He just wants to serve Kṛṣṇa. You want to develop love of Kṛṣṇa. We're all here for the same reason. We're not here because the weather's nice, right? So many things. We're here because we want to develop our love of Kṛṣṇa. We want to be happy. And by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, now we can understand, how does one become happy? Only way you can become happy is by watering the root. Only way. And that means all of it goes to the roots. Not we share. Well, put a little water here on the root, put a little water over here, when these things, my desires, my interests, it can take a long, long time. A long, long time to become Kṛṣṇa conscious. Prabhupada, 24 hours a day. I said I saw his regulation. It was amazing how regulated devotee is in his service as well. And he didn't like sleep. Of course, right after he said that, he laid down and put the covers over his head, just like a child, completely peaceful. I might not like it, but I have to do it. And he was completely, just like that, like a switch. Went from one thing, complaining, I hate sleep. And then he showed you how peacefully sleeping he could do. A little nap. It was after lunch, so it meant half-hour nap. Again, so he could do his service. And in the afternoon, just like he would say, all of us, do as I'm doing. He would read his books. That we see now. There's so many books out there now. They were there. Prabhupada went to India all the time. He could have, what's his name? Prajumna had so many books, Sanskrit, Bengali, the different acharyas, they were all available. Prabhupada, I never saw him read anything other than his books. All night he was translating, giving us his books. You would have thought that was sufficient. But then he read them in the afternoon. He chanted japa in the afternoon, chanted rounds. Everything he told us to do, he was doing it. He didn't ask us to do anything that he himself wasn't doing in the service of his spiritual master. Just passed it on. And he would say, do like I'm doing. Just do as I'm doing. And part of it was engage everyone in service. Because no matter what happens, that's how you can show some love, doing something. In 76, he went to New York City. They had 55th, 11-story building, 55th Street, skyscraper. Prabhupada had a servant. He had many servants. Over a dozen servants he had in 10 years. This was an ex-servant, ex-sannyasi. He joined, he was a teenager. But when Prabhupada came to New York, he was not following any principles, which was kind of unusual. But he wasn't following anything. But he would eat at Govinda's restaurant, there in the ground floor of the temple, Radha Govinda temple. He would go eat there, because it was a good deal. And it was prasadam, it was tasty. So every day he'd go there, but no one talked to him, this devotee, because he was really bad. He was offensive. He would even go there and he would criticize. He said, Prabhupada, he destroyed my life. I could have been a rock star. He played the guitar, had long hair, beard. He said, I gave him the best years of my life. I could have been a big musician, rock star. We don't have any of those people now interested in being rock stars. But Prabhupada, because I served him, I lost the opportunity. So devotees, they're his godbrothers and godsisters, everybody who's Prabhupada disciple, they wouldn't talk to him. Because you don't want to hear, you can't hear a pure devotee get criticized, right? What are your choices? You kill him, kill yourself, or you run away. So they didn't kill anyone, but they would just leave this person. Let him buy his $3 his prasadam, he would eat lunch. But one devotee girl, she talked to him. She's a woman. Radharani's female. They have emotions. Not like so many men, Can be very hard, callous, cold, get called different things. But women, they have emotions. Prabhupada said, natural tendency to serve. What could be better than that? A natural tendency to serve Kṛṣṇa. It's the most wonderful thing. He said, ladies have that. She had that. And she would talk to him. She felt maybe she could help, even though he was, imagine, he was eating meat. So one day, Prabhupada comes to the temple. Big sidewalk, almost as wide as this. New York City, big sidewalk. All the devotees are out there chanting. Prabhupada's coming from the airport. And she's there, devotee girl's there, and here he comes walking down the street to go to Govinda's restaurant to eat for the day. And he walks up to her. She's the only person that would talk to him. He says, why is everybody out on the street? Like they were doing Harinam in front of the temple. She said, oh, Prabhupada's coming. He looked at her, he said, well, I'm just here to have lunch. He was very fallen condition. He said, I'm just here. Even that didn't move him. Oh, Prabhupada. So, of course, no sooner he gets there, by Krishna's arrangement, Kṛṣṇa arranges everything, he gets there, and they're together, and there's the car, pulls right up in front of the temple with Prabhupada in the back seat. And the temple, Prabhupada's coming to a temple. It's not Janmashtami, but it's Janmashtami. It's always Janmashtami wherever Prabhupada went. All the sannyasis are there, GBCs are there, temple presidents from anywhere within 1,000 kilometers are there. Everyone's there to see Krishna's pure devotee. Servant, pure devotee, servant of Krishna. 24 hours a day serving Krishna. And the car door opens up. One of the big sannyasis, he opens the door because he's seeing what's happening here. He sees this blooped devotee, beard, long hair, out like a rock star. But he wasn't a rock star. He missed his chance. Unhappy. And Prabhupada comes out, and the sannyasi, they're trying to make him go in a certain direction so he doesn't have to look at this person, this envious person. And of course, Prabhupada gets out. Even though he has long hair and a beard, Prabhupada knows who it was, his servant. He cooked for Prabhupada. He massaged Prabhupada for months. So as soon as Prabhupada gets out of the car, he sees him. And despite the sannyasis trying to keep things going a certain direction, Prabhupada just walked a few steps right up to him. And he looked him in the eyes. He said, will you cook for me while I'm here? And the sannyasis, Prabhupada, he eats meat. They're whispering and is telling him all the flaws of this person, this rascal. He eats meat, he's offensive. Prabhupada had a way. He could ignore anything he wanted. He'd done it to me many times. Well, a few times. At the Rath Yatra in London, when Prabhupada was dancing, everyone was crazy because Prabhupada's dancing. And this is in England, London. They knew we were having a parade, but they thought it was going to be like the military marching, everybody 2 by 2, or, you know, devotees, they're running around like ants, everyone all over the place. And the policeman came up to me because he saw me around Prabhupada trying to help keep people from bumping into Prabhupada. He came up to me and he said, tell your leader he has to go sit in his chair. It was rather Subhadra's cart. Prabhupada's Vyasa was there. He said, tell your leader he has to sit in his chair, otherwise we're going to have to shut down this parade. I said, oh, that's serious. And Prabhupada was standing like this. Devotees, everyone dancing, and Prabhupada's standing. And I tapped him on the shoulder from behind him. And he turned around. And he looked at me, and very quickly I said, Prabhupada, he says you have to sit down or they're going to shut down the parade. And Prabhupada just spun around. He did a 360. He just looked at me, heard what I said, and just said, I'm in control here. He was in control. He just turned around and kept dancing. And I looked at the policeman and went, sorry, you know. He didn't stop the parade. Prabhupada led that whole parade. That was Prabhupada. So same way with these sannyasis. He heard what they said. Not that he didn't hear it, but he didn't care what they said. All he knew, this is my disciple. And he served me. Personally, he served me. And again he looked at him, he said, so, you'll cook for me while I'm here? And yes, Prabhupada, he said, I'll cook for you while you're here. Only way to develop love of Kṛṣṇa is by serving your spiritual master. There's no other way. Serve his instructions, but you have to do something. And Prabhupada knew, I just need to get him to do something. Try to fan that spark. It's been covered over so much by Maya. Maya is always there waiting for the opportunity. Always there. So he cooked. And of course, the one nice devotee girl who showed him a little compassion, she helped him cook. So just by her trying to help another devotee struggling, she got the benefit also, cooking for Srila Prabhupada. She was in ecstasy. Service is love. Or like Prabhupada said to me, they can jump up and down. He said they can sing and dance and jump up and down. He said, but service is love. He said, just do your service, everything will be all right. Oh, that was 50 some years ago. So again, I'm trying to do a little service. Everything will be all right. This is our business here. Serve. That is our enjoyment. Prabhupada was always happy. You think we see in our society that difficulties are there, or this is going on. I was saying, Panchagauda yesterday, we were seeing, we have so many Hare Krishna kirtaniyas, celebrities have become very big. I said, you know who the first one was? I know, Shruti. It was a Chutananda, way back, 1972. Chutananda, Prabhupada gave him sannyas, sent him to India, wound up at one of his godbrothers being taken care of. By the time we got there in 1973, he became a Bengali. He looked like a Bengali, he was round like a Bengali, like these pūjārī, like a Bengali pūjārī. He could play that mridanga like no one could do. He spoke Bengali, he gave classes in Bengali. His kirtan, wherever Prabhupada was in India, he was leading kirtans at Chutananda. Here, right here, was 75, and Prabhupada's in his room, and he hears this kirtan going on, and there's speaker system is there, everything, and it was at Chutananda. And Prabhupada called me in his room. He said, why are they playing a tape for kirtan? He said, I hear a Chutananda tape. That's how big he was. 1973, the whole world had tapes of a Chutananda leading kirtan. His bhajan. He did a songbook. Everything. He was before anyone. So I went out, and it was a Chutananda leading the kirtan. But his kirtans, like many, were very, you could right away know it was him. And Prabhupada's thinking, how's he chanting? He said, he's not here. How's he chanting? Why are they playing a tape? He said, person should be chanting. So I came back, I said, oh, Prabhupada, Chitananda Maharaj here. He said, oh, okay. But that was him. Now, of course, he's in Alachua. But I think so many wonderful devotees over the years have been there. Some of them you might have heard about, some of them you didn't. But Prabhupada never forgot any of them that contributed a little bit to his spreading Krishna consciousness around the world. And just like we know Krishna reciprocates, Prabhupada never forgets what we did. And you did a little something, you do anything to see you come back and do service. Not that we should follow his example necessarily, some meat eater cooking for us, but for Prabhupada he wanted to save the whole world. And whatever he had to do, he was prepared to do it. So what does he want? His ISKCON society. He wants us to become like him. We have to be compassionate. We have to be busy all the time, just like him, and read his books. Imagine, to me that's one of the most significant things. I never saw him reading anything else except his books. And he relished his books. I've told that many times. He called me in many times. He relished because they were in his books. He said they're Krishna's words, not my words. So if we just do these things, keep busy in service, chant, read his books, all success will be there. It's not difficult. All right, I heard the bell. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. I'll be disappointed if you don't ask me a question. You ask everyone a question.
Yeah, I got to ask you a question. Sometimes devotees have inclination just to chant rounds and, maybe chant a lot of rounds. And I think devotees are complaining to Prabhupada, oh, this devotee, all he wants to do is chant rounds all day long. Or what if somebody just wants to read and, they feel like, okay, I've done book distribution, now I can just read and chant, and that's my service to Kṛṣṇa and Prabhupada. So that's service as well, right? I mean, how does that work?
Now, Prabhupada was expert. He had, at different times, even temple authorities would come up to him and complain. Sometimes Prabhupada would say it's fine, he can just chant. Like we know Krishnadas Babaji is an example. But those devotees, I would say, they're few and far between. Like I say, when, one of the things, what were we taught was the holy name. When we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, what was the definition Prabhupada gave us? Back in then, right? We pray, "May dear Lord Krishna please engage me in your devotional service." So that was there. So we always, Prabhupada's mission was one of service. He's our founder Acharya, so we follow in his method. Then we're secure. If we just try to do what he gave us, our position is very secure. So it's nice, but really, if you're hearing and chanting, it's going to make you want to do something. Otherwise, maybe the chanting is not so effective. Even Prabhupada went to the other extreme. He could say anything. It was always individual. They complained about one temple president in the U.S. wasn't chanting his rounds. They would come up, because devotees are very observant of others. We can spend time, we know what everybody else is doing or not doing. So they said, Prabhupada, we know, that was the thing, we know he's not chanting his rounds. Prabhupada said, he's a very nice devotee, good temple president. Encourage, Prabhupada would say encourage him. Then another time, it happened to one devotee here in India, they said he's not chanting his rounds. And Prabhupada said, well, what good is it as a temple president if he's not chanting his rounds? He said he may be a very good businessman, good at doing business, but if he's not chanting his rounds, then it's useless. So he could say different things, apparently contradictory at different times. But that requires expertise, knowing, And ultimately, I've seen him say on different occasions, trying to engage people himself in service. And they objected. And ultimately he said, you chant your rounds, 16 rounds, follow the principles, and do any damn thing you want. But I think that method will take you a very long time to get back home, back to God. And I don't think that's very useful. Okay, one more, if somebody. Maharaj.
Yes. One time there was a devotee from Africa. He just wanted to chant like Haridas Thakur, 3 lakhs names of the Lord. So Prabhupada gave him, he was very adamant, he was pushing. So this happened in Mayapur. So he gave the facility to this devotee. He gave him a hut.
Yes.
And he just, okay, you just chant as long as you like. But then after a few weeks, he disappeared. They cannot find him anymore. So Prabhupada gave us 16 minimum rounds because he knew that our mind is chanchala. We cannot chant so much, and therefore we have to be engaged in some practical activities in order to maintain our bhakti. Yes. Regarding love, one devotee asked Prabhupada, because there was a big pandal, and everyone bowing down to him, everyone trying to touch his lotus feet. So the devotee asked Prabhupada, how comes everybody loves you? And his reply was, because I love everyone.
Jai. Yes.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. First of all, Prabhu, thank you very much for your wonderful explanation of the pastimes which you personally had with all humility. So, in one of the pastimes you mentioned that you were enjoying your service to serve Prabhupada, but somehow you were not getting the love for Prabhupada. So this is a bit difficult to understand.
Well, of course, there's different levels. That's what we say. The service was wonderful. Being with Prabhupada was always pleasurable. But at the same time, you compare yourself to others. I wasn't jumping up and down like they were. I was tears in my eyes, and so that's what I was feeling. I was missing out. I was missing out. So many of them might have thought, they're missing out. Look at him, he gets to be right with Prabhupada. So everybody sees things according to their own vision. So I'm thinking, look at all these people in ecstasy. I'm not feeling any ecstasy. That was the...
Getting motivated by other people.
I also, in my own way, like Prabhupada, I was very regulated, which made it good to be his servant, that you can be in step with what he was doing. So that part was pleasurable. I liked being with Prabhupada very much because he was very peaceful. And everywhere is chaos. Everywhere there's chaos. I'm not a person, I don't appreciate chaos, confrontation, arguments, none of those things I don't like. And I find being with Prabhupada, he could do so many things, give classes, morning walks. When he went in his room, it was the eye of the cyclone. It was peaceful. This was Krishna conscious, but there was just this peacefulness that I say, I could never understand. He made everything look so easy. Sometimes you would think as all he does is translate, read his books and chant japa. But everything he was doing, but he did it happily, happy to serve Krishna in any event, whatever the circumstances were. So that I like very much, that. And I miss that. Yes. Because this world's not a peaceful place. Not a peaceful place. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. I think we...
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji.
Oh.
Thank you for explaining very intimate connection with Prabhupada. We are very happy to hear.
Thank you.
And one question, Prabhuji. Now you left everything and came with Prabhupada to serve. You were born with silver spoon, I think. and at that time you are so lucky, there is no phone connection to talk to your parents or brothers and sisters. But now for Indians, all their family strings are nearby. So what is your advice to serve?
What was the last part of that with the Indians?
What is your advice for
family,
we
yes.
Indians,
Yes.
family people and brahmacharis also, our contacts are very near.
Yes, it's very...
So...
It's nice having that family unit there, but we know in this culture, very difficult to separate from home. Even when one becomes an adult, get married, one's expected to take care of their family because they know very well. They've been told, I've taken care of you your whole life, now your job is to take care of me. And I think that's...
But we are missing service to Kṛṣṇa.
Yes. Well, I see them coming now, by hundreds of thousands are coming. So even that has changed very much in India. Like back in the day, Prabhupada, he didn't, he made one Indian disciple before he left, but preaching, as he said to him for years, I haven't made one devotee. He chastised a disciple saying he wanted to learn Hindi. Prabhupada said, why? So I can preach to the Indians. He said, I've been preaching to him my whole life, I haven't made one devotee. What are you going to do? What can you do? That was then. But this... That's why they were But this is now, very different state. I say, we can't even accommodate all the people that want to come live in the temples at this time and to become Krishna conscious. So things have changed. And Prabhupada knew that. He was so wonderful, Prabhupada. He knew he only had to preach to Westerners. He knew 10, 20 years down the line, everyone in India is going to be Krishna conscious. He knew that. So he spent all his time dealing with those that were going to be the most difficult, which was us Westerners. And I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Believe me, I had no silver spoons. All right, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, thank you.